Hey everybody, my name's Nick. This is my 2022 GR86, and today we're going to take the engine out of it.
There's a GR86 slamming the curbing and dragging a tire in the gravel there at the exit of 6.
Alright, so the reason we're taking the engine out today is because we experienced a catastrophic failure on track when connecting rod number 3 had some kind of failure, whether it be the bearing froze or the end cap actually broke off the connecting rod. But that resulted in the connecting rod going out the top of the block. It broke the coolant crossover pipe, the intake manifold, the throttle body, and there is metal just absolutely everywhere. I bought it brand new in 2022, drove it off the dealer lot within 1,000 miles and had completed the break-in and saw its first track day. I built the car up pretty aggressively from there and started doing time attack in it. It's now seen over 50 track days. It has won 1 championship, 5 fastest laps. It's been a great car, 35,000 street miles. I think I just may have pushed it a little too far, and it experienced too many low oil pressure moments, and the bearing finally gave up before the connecting rod gave up. So today we're going to pull the engine, and then once I get the engine out, we're going to do a separate video as well where we actually tear the block down and show some of the carnage that has gone on inside and see if we can surmise exactly what the cause of the failure was. So stay tuned. Hope you guys get to enjoy it. We'll see what happens. Switched over to the GoPro on the head cam here. We're going to try to film this POV. So we're going to start from the very beginning. So pop the hood, get your tools, come around to the front of the car here. And you know, I do have a pretty nice set of tools, but to be honest with you, you really don't need anything too crazy. So first step is going to be to pull the ground strap off the battery. It's a 10 mil. There may be some things that are slightly different from my process to yours. So terminals unplugged. And with my catch cans here, radium catch can, it does make it quite a bit harder to get this battery out. Shouldn't be as difficult for you guys though. Oh, motherfucker. Lord. Let's get the tray out of here. Oh, yeah, that's disgusting. When I was at the track, I actually did take the alternator, the inlet, and the AC compressor off so I could get up into this area underneath the intake because the rod came out the top, and so this whole part of the engine bay was full of fluids. I have put it all back together so that we can actually watch a process from start to beginning. And like I said before, there are some mods on this car that are going to differ from people who have just a stock engine, but the process is going to be relatively the same. The differences that I have here are going to be the post-map hose, the intake, the oil cooler, which is E85 flex fuel sensor in line to my fuel system, and then obviously a strap bar. Alright, so we got the battery out. We're going to actually go underneath the car now, and we're going to drain what is left of the fluids. So hold the tray up, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quick clips, 12 millimeter, here, 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 and here, and then these 4 fasteners, these are also 12s, these are 10s. There's more oil. There was a lot on top of the engine. I was actually pretty surprised to see how little I saw coming through the bottom of the engine, but I mean, look at that right there. There's a nice chunk of metal right there. Yeah, that's nothing compared to what's on top of the engine though. Right here, just on the passenger side, right here next to your lower control arm pickup, right up there. There's a little bit left. Oh God. Oh God. Oh, that was unexpected. God damn it. Well, give me a minute to clean that up. We'll fucking start over. Separate the coolant from the oil. There's a little bit of sludge. Oh yeah, there it is. Oh, look at that. I can see huge pieces of metal through there. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but there are giant chunks of metal right there. Alright, so we're moving back to the top of the engine. We're going to start disassembling up here now. I like to start with pulling off the intake hoses. Get these two hose clamps here. The factory car will be different. Mostly the same though. So this is my return line for my catch can right here. I'm just gonna tuck this guy back out of the way. So these two are loose. Pop this guy off. Right, and then get that off. Attempt to leave this in, just because I have to take the bumper off to get it off. So we'll see if possible. It's gonna be a huge pain in the butt with it sticking off the front of the engine. So unplug the mass airflow sensor right there. If you push in these clips right here, you can use your hands. Usually a little pick tool like this guy is pretty nice, so take that, bam, pull that through, out. Okay. So next I'm going to unplug the AC compressor, and then we're actually going to get the serpentine belt off. So 2 10 mils here, 2 more here and here. These covers come off. Now careful, because this wire is attached to this cover. If you're not careful, you'll break that wire, and then you've actually ruined your signal wire for your AC compressor. To get our serpentine belt off here, you have a pulley right here, a tensioner pulley. That's a 14 millimeter. Put your wrench on tighten. Bring it in, and tight, and pull, and that will give you the slack you need to get your serpentine belt off. Then I'm a big fan of just putting stuff back. Like if it doesn't need to be off, don't leave it off. Put your bolts back where they came from. Some pieces of the block there. Here in a second, I'll actually show you guys inside the throttle body. It's pretty bad. All right. So serpentine is off, so the next things we're going to do is we're going to get the alternator and the AC compressor off. The alternator is pretty easy. It's a series of 12 mils, so the first thing you're going to want to do is remove the electrical signal connector off of the top right here. This is a squeeze tile on top right there, and that slides off. There we go. There's she is. And this is a 12 mil. The next thing you're going to take off is the 12 millimeter right here and 12 mil right here. Alternator comes right up out of there like that. Next, we'll get the alternator bracket, which is held by a 14 here, here, and here. Alright, so you guys are about to get your first look at the carnage on top of the block. So, yeah. Let's set this here for a second and we'll show you guys. Alright, so, as you can see, a lot of material up here. This is actually the casting number for the block right there. That usually lives right here. But as you can see, I mean, there's just nothing left at this point. See the light here? Yeah. There you go. Nice view. There's a bolt down there. Oh, okay. Wonder where that went. There's the hole. That's one of them. Alright, so next is the AC compressor. So there's a 14 mil down here, underneath the pulley. Got that. Another 14 mil back here. And one more additional bolt, and this one is right here. The other side of that, get your wiring harnesses out of there. Alright, 3 fasteners for that. So this is where it becomes uncharted territory. This is my oil pressure sensor. This is aftermarket. Typically you would just have a plug here. Pull that out of here. Keep it safe. We're gonna get the strut bar off. 17, let's go. Next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually disconnect the fuel system. So like I said before, I have the Delicious Tuning E85 Flex Fuel Kit. So you will just pull these 2 ports. And in order to get these off, you have a little tab that you have to depress. And then you clip these safeties out, just like that. And there should be a little bit of fuel left in here. So we're going to get this ready to go. Oh, I guess that would help too, doesn't it? Right there. So you have this cover right here. You have to get in there, get that open, and then you can lift that off. Not much fuel. That's good. Never mind. This one is a compression still. There we go. And then you also have an evap line right here. So this guy right here is an evap for the fuel system. Pretty simple. I mean, just a pair of needle nose pliers. You get those by hand. There you go, that's off. actually believe that we are going to need to pull these off as well. So actually, before I get too wrapped up in this, I'm going to take these off. And from the factory, they're 12. I have an aftermarket part on here, so this is the 13. The next thing we're going to get out of the way here is actually going to be the oil filter and the thermostatic sandwich plate. I don't know how about you guys do it, but I usually keep my oil filter to the point where I can just pull it like that. This guy here. Made a special socket for this guy. And I have a plastic bag that I'm going to ziplock this into. Yep, quite a bit of metal right there already. Doesn't look terrible. O-ring's a little tore up, but there she goes. It's just dirty in there. I don't see any immediate evidence of metal contamination, but you never know. Alright, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get a plastic bag. Alright, so far we have fueling system disconnected, strut tower bars out, AC compressor loose, alternator and the bracket off. We're gonna move along to the passenger side of the engine. We're gonna disconnect that coolant line. We already drained the coolant system. And like I said before, we actually broke the coolant crossover when the connecting rod came through the top of the block. So a little trick with like coolant system hoses like this, they get kind of like a pressure seal on it from like heat soak and then cooling off, heat cycling. If you just take a pair of pliers and just kind of give it a little wiggle, you can get them to break. See that? There you go. And now you can get it off. Just like that. We're actually going to pull this guy too. And I just want to make room on the front of the engine bay. Ooh, that's going to hurt. There you go. And then I can twist that off of there. Alright. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to pull the ECM right here. It comes out pretty easy. You have a 10mm fastener here, and then it actually just has two little pops down there, little grommets that it fit into. And as always, put your fastener back. So back here. That up actually. There we go. Still more room to work here. Just like that. Disengages from there. Alright, so we got the ECU removed from right here. Try to get these guys up out of the way. We're gonna try to peel back some of this harness here. There he goes. That's nice. Okay. I think we might need to get my catch can line out of here because it's just in the way. So usually you guys will have a line that goes from the back of the intake here and comes down and connects right here. So this is the PCV and the crankcase breather. So that would go to here normally. Since I have the other catch can, I have a dual catch can set up. It comes from my intake from the breather up. So this would be the side that is breathing up, collects in there, and then goes out. Alright, there you go, there's one side. And then as I stated before, this one, a little bit harder to get to. Down here. There we go, not bad, alright. And then same thing, we'll get this catch can out of here as well. Line goes to your brake booster, so you can actually disconnect it from the back of the engine here and here, but we're going to pull the whole thing out just to make it easier when we pull the engine. So start by getting that. There you go. And then we have two 10 mils back here. It looks to be that there is a slot key that slides into, and then comes over here to the brake booster. As always, put your hardware back. So to the brake booster here. They just pulled the hard line to the booster there, which I guess you also could have done, but I prefer to pull the whole thing out just for room when I pull the engine. Next, we have opened up room to the transmission now, so you can see a fairly large amount of oil back here too, and some rags from when I cleaned it up. Alright, so we need to disconnect your two lines to your heater core, and I always recommend that you try to pull from the hard line side on the engine. The risk you run by pulling from this side of the car is you could actually damage this connection here and break your heater core, and then you have an internal leak behind the dashboard and you have to pull the dash. Alright, so next we're going to pull the slave cylinder, two 14mm bolts right here on top of the bell housing. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to remove the transmission harness and then the remainder of the harness for the chassis along this side of the engine. So we're going to start by removing these two clips and this ground strap, and that's for the transmission. Gosh, those are also covered in oil. Seems to be a theme here. And I believe this is a 12mm right there. Clip retainer right here. So push that forward. It slides off. We also have a piece right here holding it onto there. There we go. Get that off. There we go. Okay, so that's that portion of the harness removed. And then we have this plug here. Alright, and then that portion of the harness has been removed now. So we can pull that back out of our way. And then next we have the starter right here. So you have the ignition wire and then the ground strap right here. In order to get this free, you have to take this bracket off the block. Okay. In order to get the wiring harness off of this bracketry, you have this plug here that has a clip on the back side that you need to pull up, and that pops off. There's one right here. This needs to come out, and that comes up. That frees that portion of the harness. We still have a transmission connector down here we need to disconnect. And then the main wire harness is right here. You need to lift up on this guy and pull out, just like that. Alright, so now let's get this transmission ground strap right here. We're going to pull that off. That is a 12mm. Alright, that has been disconnected, and now That is all the wiring on this side of the engine. Let's put this back. And we only had to loosen this bracket to get this harness out. It is important that it stays on because this is actually the hook that we will hoist the engine with. So I'm going to get that other fastener back in. Alright, so the next thing that I'm going to recommend that you do would be to remove this portion of this bracket here to help you gain access to the starter. Alright, next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the starter. 14mm down here, 14mm up here. And there's the starter. It's actually pretty gross too. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to remove the overpipe to the header. And then I actually think that, you don't have to do this, but I am going to remove the header. $14mm through, sorry. Next step is to move on to the flange for the overpipe. You want to pull these two 14mm, and then next you'll have the three 14mm studs that hold the header onto the head. You want to pull the flange first, so that way you have access to these and it doesn't get bound up, so you can get it off safely. Lots go inside the header. Oh, that is such a bummer. That means that this thing is completely toasted. Such a bummer. That's $1,000 down the drain. got the headers off, and the catalyst was full of oil all the way down to the downpipe right there. And as I was worried, I'm sure you can see that there is a ton of debris here. I mean, oh my gosh. I hope you can see that. So I don't know if these are salvageable. This side doesn't look as bad. Everyone say hi to John. Come here, sweetheart. Come here, baby. Come here. Sit. Come here. Sit. Everybody. Oh, say hi. Say hi, everybody. Say hi, I'm the shop dog. There she goes. Oh, yeah. We're dumping oil out of the head. Oh my gosh, what a mess. Yeah, this side doesn't look too bad, but this side is just shrapnel everywhere. God. Yep. Alright, so the next step is going to be to remove the lower radiator hose. It's just a simple clamp, spring clamp. They have a little detent in here you can get them to stay open with. And we don't know if there's still any residual coolant in here. So we're gonna try to get this hose broke free. There we go, just like that. Let's get our bucket. Alright, we're gonna let that drain for a bit, and we'll move on to the next one. Alright, up next we have two ground straps on the bottom of the engine that go from the engine to the chassis. They're connected by a 10mm. You can either remove it from the head or from the chassis itself. First is on the driver's side, right next to the coolant crossover pipe that comes out of the water pump. Other side, which is already removed off of my engine, goes to that bracket right there. Alright, next we're going to start on the bell housing bolts. You have 4 on the driver's side and 2 remaining on the passenger side on the bottom. Once you have these out, all you have left is the motor mounts, which are right next to where we're at, and the engine is ready to come out. I recommend leaving 1 stud in the back of the engine until you have everything else out and a hoist hooked up before you pull that last stud. $17mm nuts that are on the bottom of the studs, the bottom of the crossmember. 1 driver, 1 passenger. So I've got a dolly or a hoist in here. I've connected my hook to this part of the engine, and then I bolted a chain link through a portion of where the block is bolted through for the AC compressor. And got my chain over the top. I always just pick up the chain. I don't really use seat belts like some people. Another thing I kind of found cool is normally your hood prop, which mounts right here and then goes to this receiving hole. I saw another hole here, so I put the hood prop in this hole here. There's even a little grommet on the hood prop, and this here, and look how much more clearance I have on the hood now. So, oh, that was pretty cool. But, all right, so we're about ready to start lifting up. When you're ready to pull the engine like this, those studs that go through the bottom of the engine from the motor mounts actually go through the subframe, so you need to lift the transmission and the engine block up so you get clearance out of that. Since there's nothing keeping the engine together, we're going to put some tension on the hook, make sure we've got a little bit of pressure upward. We're going to bring the jack in. We may have to go to the other side. Alright, so next we're going to lift from the transmission to get the engine up so the studs that come from the motor mounts will clear out of the subframe. Should be good enough. Alright, so the engine is lifted up. We're going to take the pressure off the engine with the hoist, and theoretically it should just slide right up. Yep, that's exactly what I thought. Alright. Because we are on a slight inclination, the studs in the back of the engine are actually really challenging to get out. I should have pulled them out, but mistakes were made, and here we are. And that's why you see me having to use a pry bar to get the engine free from the transmission. There goes. Pull this far. Get it free. Yep. Here we go. Let's bring this up. Bring this out. Alright, and we're free. So now we just need to come up and straight out. Alright, I'm going to let the transmission down so I can get my jack out of here. Sweetheart. Look out, Jen. And there you have it, guys. GR86, BRZ, FA24 pulled out. Realistically, you're looking at about 2 to 3 hours of labor depending on your skill level. Like I said, you don't need anything crazy for tooling. Something you can do by yourself if you have a buddy who has an engine hoist. Makes it a lot easier. Alright, well, thanks for joining me, guys, and we'll catch you. We'll see what we can do when we tear down this engine and find the rest of the holes.